Probably should have added myself to the stream. My mistake. Stand up, New York Knicks fans. Haven't done a ton of offseason coverage because, quite frankly, I've been busy. And yeah, obviously football's coming into swing, but I wanted to do, I guess, a live stream after the New York Knicks did everything that they were going to do this offseason, being that, I'm a huge Knicks fan. I can't wait until this upcoming season to get back to calling all the Knicks games. And obviously this was a very, very important offseason for the New York Knicks, coming off their most successful season, I think, since 2013, where the Knicks went out there. They won 54 games with Carmelo Anthony. They got a young team. They're emerging. They're getting better. I'm really excited about the future of this Knicks team. Obviously, Thibodeau went out there last year, won Coach of the Year, and we went into this offseason with questions. What are the Knicks going to end up doing? Well, today we got our answer. We got the final piece, the final cherry on top of what the Knicks are going to do. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about the offseason. Obviously, I'll field some of your guys' questions as well. But I just want to take some time, talk some Knicks basketball, being that it's the biggest part of the offseason for the New York Knicks. Free agency. They had the most cap space in the NBA. And I like a lot of the things that they did. And we're going to talk about all of it. What's going on, Scotty H? What's going on there? John, what's going on there? Meet Zeke fan in the chat. Scotty H in the chat. Christoph Porzingis in the chat. Master in the chat. Jeremy, man, thank you so much for popping in the stream. I appreciate it. So going into, and what's up, Pack Rat, man? What's going on, True Rapless, man? What's going on, amazing guy? So going into the offseason, the one thing that I kept saying to myself, what's up there, King Trizzy, man? Thanks for popping in. I worried that the Knicks weren't going to be able to bring back a lot of the guys that helped this team last year, that helped this team grow, right? They had a ton of free agents because they signed guys to short-term contracts, namely being Nerlens Noel. I always thought Derrick Rose would be coming back. And obviously Alec Burks. I knew one of Burks or Reggie Bullock the Knicks were probably going to retain. Ultimately, they ended up sticking with Burks. I never thought we were going to be able to keep Nerlens Noel. I just didn't think it was going to be in the cards. I didn't think it was going to happen. The Knicks ended up being able to keep him. Now, the one thing that I do like about all these deals outside of the Fournier contract is they're all 2-year deals. They're not long-term commitments. They were initially reported as 3-year contracts. They could cut any one of these guys after 2 years, which is great. You get out of those contracts. The other thing I think Knicks fans have to realize is you can make trades. You can get these guys off the books if you decide to go out there and get a superstar in a year or two. And I know a lot of Knicks fans and a lot of NBA fans will look at the Knicks and they'll say, well, they didn't get a superstar. What did they do? Well, what superstar did you want the Knicks to get? What superstar was available for the New York Knicks to go out there and obtain? There wasn't one. I mean, you want to say Kawhi Leonard. What's up there, John, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. You want to say Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard may not even play this year. And if he does, he's not going to play till probably mid-season, and he was never leaving the LA Clippers. So that wasn't going to happen. You want to say Damian Lillard. Well, Damian Lillard may be a slight possibility. Might be. You'd have to give up everything to get him. You'd have to give up 3 or 4 first-round picks. You'd have to give up R.J. Barrett. And at that point, where are you? Where are you as an organization? You're right back where you were when you got Carmelo Anthony. When we got Carmelo Anthony, we gave up, a ton of draft picks. We gave up Wilson Chandler. We gave up Danilo Gallinari. We gave up our whole future, Timothy Mozgov, so on and so forth. Where did that get us? It got us to the second round of the playoffs. I'm sick of getting to the second round of the playoffs. So what did the New York Knicks do? They kept all their young assets. They didn't trade away anybody, which is the right thing to do, unless you're going to be able to obtain multiple superstars, which was never going to be the case this offseason. They kept their young assets. In addition to that, they accrued more future assets with draft picks. They traded away. They got a future first-round pick from the Washington Wizards. They didn't touch Barrett. They didn't touch Quickly. They didn't touch Toppin. So I love what the Knicks did this offseason, and we're going to get into some of the free agent acquisitions that they brought in as well. Obviously, the two main players being Evan Fournier and now Kemba Walker. And we're going to talk about that, the effect that I think it could have on the lineup this upcoming season. But Nick, man, thank you very much. Joe Looney retired. Is that true? Joe Looney retired? We just got him. Wow. I'll talk about that. I'll have a Giants video up later today on that. Obviously, I'm talking Knicks right now. I don't talk Knicks a lot, but it's a big point in the offseason. I wanted to talk some Knicks today on their roster, but I'm sure I'll have a video up on that later today if that's indeed accurate. So I'll talk about that later today. Sign Kelly Oubre. I was never a fan of Kelly Oubre, to be completely honest with you, Joe. I wasn't. I like the guys they added. You look at what the Knicks did this offseason. To me, it's abundantly clear what the Knicks did. It's clear what the Knicks did. Last year, what did the Knicks improve on more so than anything else? 3-point shooting, right? 3-point efficiency. They got very good in that aspect. What were they horrible at the year before that? They couldn't shoot. Last year, yes, the efficiency was up. The percentages were up. but they didn't have really good three-point shooters. It was based off of ball movement. Randall got better. Obviously, we added quickly, which helped in that department. This year, they go out there. Grimes is supposed to be a really good three-point shooter that they got in the draft. They also got McBride. In addition to that, you get Kemba Walker, jacked up like 8.5, 9 threes a game. Fournier shot for over 40% from distance. So now you have guys that are going to space the floor, guys that can knock down the three ball, and they're going to open up the lane for RJ Barrett. So I think the Knicks did a really good job in helping the maturation of RJ Barrett. And I think that's got to be the goal for this team right now, is helping their young players grow. Are the Knicks going to win a championship with this backcourt? No. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that we're going to win a championship with this team. We're not there yet. We still got to keep building and growing, and we're going to need to eventually attract superstars to this New York Knicks roster to put ourselves over the top. But what they did by getting Evan Fournier, by getting Kemba Walker, by improving this roster, by keeping the bench intact, it's going to allow players like Obi Toppin, players like RJ Barrett to mature and grow and get better and ultimately potentially up their trade value. I'm not saying I want to trade those guys, but you're going to end up having to trade somebody eventually if you're going to be bringing in a superstar. You need your young players to continue to grow, continue to mature, and you need the Knicks to be a welcome destination, a place where superstars are going to want to come play. So I love what the Knicks did this offseason. We'll talk more about it throughout the whole stream, though. JD, man, thank you very much. Tana, let me go live to discuss Knicks. Giants hold my beer. What a wild offseason in New York sports. Hey, man, I always usually talk New York Knicks in the offseason. Haven't done it a ton. But, yeah, man, I wanted to talk Knicks today, man. It's a big day for the New York Knicks. We get Kemba Walker. We all know we've been deprived as a point guard. What's up, Logic, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. And I say to myself, man, the things that I like here, we needed a point guard. The other thing that I think it does, JD, is it doesn't force quickly into the starting lineup. It doesn't force Derrick Rose into the starting lineup. You keep that strong bench intact. Those guys you don't have to force quickly into something that he's not. I don't view Emmanuel quickly as a point guard. He's a combo guard. I like him more on the bench. I think that's where he belongs with this team. Could be a very good six-man, maybe ultimately be a starter, but I think Kemba Walker's a really nice pickup. I don't know what he's going to be. I don't know. Obviously, he's had the knee injuries, but you don't pay anything. He got a buyout. He's coming here for very little. I think it's like under $10 million we had in cap space. So you get Kemba Walker for next to nothing, and it's a low-risk, high-reward signing. So I love the pickup. Fournier, I think, is going to help the offense a ton as well. And John, man, thank you very much. Stand up, Chris. Daniel Jones will stink. I think Hurts will be better, in my opinion. Granted, I could be wrong, but with a guy who trips over the 20, I like no chance. We'll talk about that throughout the season, but there was no chance. What's up there, Bryce, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I wanted to come on and talk about the Knicks roster as a whole. And the one thing that I love about this team right now, let's see. Yup, Joe Looney retires and Judge's laps are too much. I did not even know about that. But I will have a video up on that later today if that's the truth. I like this starting lineup. Mitch, what's up, Jared Mercado, man? Thanks for popping in. What's going on, Irish? Mitch, Randall, Barrett, Fournier, and Walker. Well, yeah, I think you're either going to have the ability to start Mitch or obviously the ability to start Noel if they feel like Mitch isn't going to be in the starting lineup. I think it'll be Mitch. Obviously, a lot of people, I think, forget how big of a step back we thought this Knicks team was going to take last year when Mitch Robinson went down with the injury. Noel did a great job stepping in, and it's only going to add depth to your bench and your team, and it's going to help us win a lot more regular season games this year. I think the Knicks are going to be a damn good team this year. I'm not saying we have enough to put us over the top come playoff time. We'll see. And they still could make a trade from within season. But they got a lot of nice players now to help space the floor for this New York Knicks basketball team. And I think that's only going to help RJ Barrett grow. I think it's going to take some of the pressure off Julius Randle. I think Evan Fournier is a really nice pickup for the Knicks. I don't love the contract. I don't love the 3-year commitment with the fourth-year option. I would have preferred, one less year. But ultimately, he's a guy that we needed. Reggie Bullock is a player that I love, but you essentially replaced Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton with Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. You got an upgrade at both spots. Fournier brings a lot more versatility to the offense. He could play some point. He could play some two. He could create his own shot. Both those players could create their own shot. You look at last year's Knicks team, we really only had one player, Derrick Rose, that created his own shot. And it's why he performed pretty well in the playoffs. We needed a player like that. But yeah, I'm excited to get Mitch back in the starting lineup this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Alvaro, man, thank you very much. Sup, Chris? What's going to be Kemba's best contribution to this team? Let's go. Well, first off, let's go next thing. Of course, man. About your survey. Obviously, I think his ability to get to the rim. I think that's what he's going to bring to this team. You have to hope that he's healthy, and his ability to create his own shot. Obviously, he could shoot the three. He's a distributor as well. He averaged about 5 or 6 assists a game. He's got to stay healthy. I think he only played about 45 games last year with the Celtics. When he's on the court, he's still good. He averaged like 20 points a game last year, 5 assists. Not the same player that he was, but for what we're getting him for, you're paying next to nothing. And it's still keeping Derrick Rose on the bench. It's still keeping Emmanuel quickly on the bench. So it's keeping that unit strong. And I do think that Kemba Walker is still a good player in the NBA when he's on the court. So I think it was a good pickup by the Knicks. Like I said, no risk, high reward. John, man, thank you very much. Kemba and Rose is going to help McBride a lot. Well, not just McBride. It's going to help Barrett a lot. It's going to help Toppin a lot. It's going to help space the floor for everybody. I think it's going to give us better shot opportunities. So I think there were good pickups for this basketball team. JD, man, thank you very much. Getting Kemba without giving up, that's the thing. They didn't give up any assets, and that's what I love. We maintained all of our future draft capital, and when you look at the Knicks right now, they're building this team the right way. They're going to ultimately be able to trade those draft picks to be able to get a star. Right now, we've got a future first from Dallas. We got a future first from Washington. We have all of our first-round picks. We got like 4 second-round picks in 2023, which is supposed to be the high school draft. So the Knicks kept all their assets. And they actually added assets when they traded down in this year's draft, which you have to think, JD, eventually is going to result in a trade. They're going to eventually make a move. And, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, you should keep the cap space and you should wait for a superstar. And listen, I would love to add a superstar. There were no superstars to be added, and you can't just bank on the fact. We've been through this before, JD, Knicks fans. We went through this with LeBron James. We went through this with so many players where we say, just wait it out and we'll try to sign a superstar. You have to have a reason for a superstar to want to come, which means you need players like RJ Barrett to improve. You need a young core that's growing. And without getting a threat at the point guard position, without getting players that could space the floor, RJ Barrett's not going to be able to take that next step. So for me, that's what I'm excited about more so than anything. I think these additions are going to help players like hopefully Toppin and Barrett progress as professional basketball players. Sticky Fingers, man, thank you very much. I know it's Knicks time, but the Giants getting praised on ESPN, Fox Sports 1, NFL Network for showing toughness with that brawl. I thought they would kill Judge for sure. I've seen both ways, to be completely honest with you, Sticky Fingers. I've seen some people not knock him, and some people knock him. It is what it is, man. I'm not going to go by what the national media says about brawls and everything else regarding Joe Judge. I like that they showed a little bit more tenacity, animosity the first day with the pads on. I'm not going to read too much into it. Judge obviously has the team under control, had him run a marathon after the fact. And hopefully Jones comes back healthy. Well, he is healthy. Hopefully Galladay, I should say, comes back healthy. I'll have a video up on that later today, just kind of waiting to get more clarity on it to talk about that. And obviously I'll be talking about Looney as well. That's the second Giants player that's retired, which is crazy. What's going on there, Word Man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I'm gonna talk about that later, specific potential replacements for him. But yeah, that's a bit of a surprise that Looney retired. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning as to why. I'll wait to see, the reports that may come out as to why he may have. Maybe he didn't feel like he was going to get an opportunity to start with this team. Maybe he didn't like that he had to work with Joe Judge. I don't know. But yeah, I just heard about it as soon as I went live. I didn't even know. I went live and you guys told me about it. So I'll definitely have a video up on it later today. But obviously it hurts the depth of this offensive line. He was a guy that was going to play some guard and some center off the bench in case we had some injuries. So not the best of news. What's up there, Word Man? What's going on there, Jameson? And Brandon says this is probably not going to happen. So you think the Knicks will still try to trade for Lillard and play? No, I don't. I don't think we're going to try to trade for Lillard. Now, do I think it's possible that the Knicks could make a move from within season? I don't know if it'll be necessarily Lillard or necessarily Bradley Beal or whoever. But yes, I think it's possible. If the Knicks, they showed this year, man, that the Knicks, when they had an opportunity to try to better this team, they got Derrick Rose. There were also rumors that they were in on certain players that didn't ultimately end up happening because the price may have been higher than what they were willing to pay. But I do think if the Knicks feel like they're a player away from truly contending, they'll go out there and do it. And when you look at this roster, I mean, and I didn't even bring up Vildosa. We'll see how good of a player he is. But you look how deep this team is right now. Look at the bench. You've got Burks coming back. You've got Noel coming back. Toppin's only going to get better. He can't get worse. He was a rookie. You got to figure he's going to improve. You got Quickly coming back. You got to figure he's only going to get better year or two. And you got Derrick Rose now coming off the bench. Taj Gibson, I think, is coming back as well. We'll see if he ultimately ends up making the team. We added some nice rookies, guys that could shoot and stretch the floor. So I love the depth of this basketball team. But, yeah, I think we're still probably one big piece away from truly contending in the Eastern Conference. But if they feel that there's a player out there come trade deadline that they could go out and get, I would not be surprised at all if the Knicks look to make a move. I think this brings a lot more enthusiasm into next year, though. The Knicks needed to add some players to make this a better basketball team, and they did it. Bobby, man, what's going on, man? Kemba's leadership going to help that young core a ton. Plus, he's a New York guy, man. I'm excited for him to come back. Obviously, we all remember him when he was with UConn at MSG. He had that incredible NCAA tournament. He's a college basketball legend, and obviously, born in New York, he gets to come back home. Maybe that sparks a little bit more into him. We'll see, but for what we got him for, you can't complain if you're a New York Knicks fan. I think the Knicks did as good of a job as they possibly could have this offseason, given the circumstances with this basketball team. They didn't hurt the future, and they helped the present. So I don't know if you're a Knicks fan, what you could be upset about. I know some Knicks fans may say, oh, we should have got so-and-so, but they weren't coming here. You weren't going to get a superstar unless you were willing to give up the moon and stars, and right now the Knicks shouldn't be doing that. Christian, man, thank you very much. Less likely Randall's disappoints when Kemba's on the team. If he's healthy, for sure, it's going to take a lot of pressure off Julius Randle come playoff time. We saw when Randall didn't have a guy that could create space and draw double teams and get to the basket. We saw how much he struggled come playoff time. The opposing defenses doubled him, tripled him. They made it almost impossible for him to put the ball in the basket. You had a guy like Kemba. You had a guy like Evan Fournier, who I don't want to discount. He's a damn good player. Not that he's a superstar, but he's a guy that could shoot. He's a guy that could stretch the floor. He's more of a dynamic player offensively than Reggie Bullock is. That's going to help. It's going to help not just Randall. It's going to help the entire team offensively. Bryce, man, thank you very much. I feel special. I was the 100th like. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're coming in, smash that like, subscribe, ring the bell, man. Thank you guys so much for being here. Evan says Knicks just got to trust the process. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks are smart right now. They're not doing anything dumb, which I think as a Knicks fan in itself, is great because we have not seen, think about all the times the Knicks have made stupid trades since I've been watching the team. Marbury, Carmelo, as much as we loved them, the trade wasn't smart. Antonio McDyess, you go down the list, and it's nice to see that the Knicks are not taking that route. I think they're building this team the right way, and I'm excited about the future of this basketball team. Bryce, man, thank you very much. He says, if we sign Austin Ryder, do you think we'll have a solid line or still average? We may now sign him. We'll see. That's a good point. Now that Looney was cut or retired, I don't think he would start though. And maybe I'm wrong. And I know he's a starting caliber offensive lineman. He started for the Chiefs each of the last 2 years. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he would start. But I really do think that the Giants are committed to this young offensive line. They're committed to the growth of these players on this offensive line. That being Shane Lemieux, Matt Barrett, Andrew Thomas. I think they believe in these guys, and they want them to grow and be a part of the future. I could be wrong, though. Obviously, I would hope that Reader would start if we were to sign him because I'm not the biggest fan of Shane Lemieux, at least right now. And maybe he will mature, and maybe I will believe in him this year. We'll see. But all signs point to that the Giants believe in this young core. I don't know if he would even start, which is why I might doubt if he's not going to start, if he would even sign here. Pete, man, thank you very much. Looney retiring is horrible for our PR. We'll all say Judge is tough, and we love it. The world will say Judge is an unreasonable tyrant and predict the team falls apart. Only winning will shut. Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, Pete, man, I appreciate you for being here, man. Thank you for being a great subscriber. At the end of the day, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Giants, whether it's whoever, I could care less what mainstream media has to say about my team. I care less. I don't care what picture they're going to paint of Joe Judge, just like I don't care the picture that Max Kellerman painted today for the New York Knicks in the moves that they made. I could care less. Max Kellerman went on ESPN and said, oh, they had a mediocre, free agency. He basically made it sound like they didn't do anything good. And what more could the Knicks have done? What more could the Knicks have done? If you're being reasonable with yourself, what more could they have done? So I don't care. They've been painting that picture since Joe Judge took the job. If players don't want to play for Joe Judge, I don't want them here. There's going to be certain players who want to play for him. There's going to be certain players who don't. It's the same thing with Thibodeau. For everybody that says, oh, Kawhi Leonard, the Knicks could have gotten Kawhi Leonard. First off, they couldn't have. And even if it was a possibility, Esco, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Even if it was a possibility that the Knicks could have gotten Kawhi Leonard. Like, let's say he was open to leaving the Clippers, which I don't believe was ever the case. I always think he was coming back with the Clippers. But let's just say that Kawhi Leonard was open to leaving the Clippers. He was never going to play for Tom Thibodeau. Never in a million years. Could you picture Kawhi Leonard? We're talking about the same Kawhi Leonard who sat out with the San Antonio Spurs. We're talking about the same Kawhi Leonard. He has a reputation for taking games off. You think that's going to fly with Tom Thibodeau? Do you think Kawhi Leonard would sign on to play with the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau? That was a pipe dream. That was never going to happen. Ever going to happen. Let's see what we got here. Mike, look at the Mike Garofalo tweet. All right, let me take a quick look real quick. Mike Garofalo. What did he say? Or Mike Garofalo, I think it is. He said, spoke to his agent. Joe always felt like his body didn't respond the way he needed to. Would be time to step away. He has too much respect for it. So, yeah, it doesn't sound like it's anything against Joe Judge. It just says basically he had a broken down body. Mute that bozo. Why am I yelling? I mean, I'm just passionate. I don't know. You want me to? I love when people say don't yell. All right. I'll whisper for you. Mute that bozo. How are you doing? What did you guys think of the Kemba Walker signing? What did you guys think of the Kemba Walker signing? What's up, Shop? I thought they did a pretty good job. Pete, man, thank you very much. Says NBA has become so frustrating. Analysts say this doesn't make us title contenders. Well, that's basically true of every team except 4 to 5 teams. It's not just 4 to 5 teams. It's like 2 teams. I mean, without injuries. Right now, it's the Lakers and it's the Nets. That's it. It's the Lakers and the Nets and nobody else. If they stay healthy. So yeah, no crap. It didn't make us title contenders. There was no players we could have signed that was going to make us title contenders. And the only players impact, superstars that we could have even potentially gotten would have required us trading our entire future to get, which isn't going to work when you don't have other superstars already on your basketball team or the ability to sign other superstars. And what's going on, Benjamin? Thanks for popping in the stream. And John, man, thank you very much. Chris, this upcoming season might be the year you should watch the New York Rangers. They signed the enforcer of the league first. Yeah, I heard good things about the Rangers and what they've done so far this offseason. I periodically watch the NHL. I'm not super into it. I'm a huge Knicks fan, Mets fan, Giants fan. And I'm a moderate hockey fan. I pull for the Islanders, but I don't hate the Rangers. I'll try to get a little bit more into hockey this year. I don't think I'll talk it, though. I don't know enough about the sport. Pistol Pete says, you scare me, Chris. Stop yelling. Top 5 teams in the East is going to be tough this year, Matt, because I think Miami got better, obviously, with the addition of Kyle Lowry. You got to figure the Bucks are still in the race. The Nets, obviously, are very good. So I think we'll be right in the mix in terms of like the 5-6 area in the Eastern Conference. But the Hawks, obviously, are still very good. So it's going to be tough for the Knicks unless they make another big trade in season to really put themselves at that level. But I think we knew that going into the offseason. It's going to be very tough to hit that level unless RJ Barrett this year becomes a superstar, which I don't know if he's going to become a superstar. I think RJ Barrett's going to get better, but I don't think he's going to reach that superstar level yet. So I don't think we'll be a top 4 or 5 team, maybe 5 or 6. But I think it's going to be tough for us to get higher than that, unless, of course, there's injuries. There were injuries this year. It happens every year. But on paper, there's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference right now. John, man, thank you very much. Thoughts on Drummond coming to Philly? I mean, he's a good player. You guys lost Howard, right? He's a good player for you guys. I didn't want him coming to the Knicks personally because I thought, I'd like to see Mitch and Noel. I remember last year we were talking about potentially bringing in Drummond. He played pretty well, I think, for the Lakers. I don't get to watch him on an every night basis. But, yeah, obviously he's a good rebounder, good shot blocker. And I think Howard left you guys, so he would fill that vacancy. Esco, man, thank you very much. Who besides ESPN said Rose is coming off the bench? When D-Rose played, the Knicks were 69% of games. When D-Rose didn't play, the Knicks were sub 546%. I personally just think Rose is better off the bench, and not even necessarily as a player for this Knicks team. I think he just helps the second unit. I would rather him come off the bench and still get starters minutes. Like John Starks did it. He get 30 minutes and still come off the bench with the second unit. I think about when Derrick Rose first signed up. Well, we first traded for Derrick Rose, rather, and brought him in. The first thing I immediately noticed with Derrick Rose with the Knicks was how much better he made Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin became a much better player when Rose initially got here, and then I think Rose got COVID and he missed like 2 weeks, and Toppin started to regress back to old form. I think he helps that second unit. I think he's a great burst off the bench. Like I said, he could still get starters minutes, and I'm sure with what the Knicks are paying him, Derrick Rose is going to play a lot of minutes with the Knicks. Whether he starts, I don't care. I know a lot of people like debate who should start, who should not. I don't care. Tell me who's going to finish. Tell me who's going to get the minutes. I don't care if Derrick Rose gets 28 to 30 minutes and he comes off the bench. And he can still make a major impact with this basketball team. I think between him and Rose, you got a good point guard duo now with the Knicks. Tago, man, what's going on? Chris, I low-key love the offseason. Fournier is a lot better than Bullock, and we got a low-risk, high-reward in Walker. Rose will be big for the young guys. We are building. We are not rushing. Exactly. That's basically what I'm saying. Fournier, as much as I love, I don't know why Looney retired. I just heard about it when I come. Well, I do. He said his body was out of shape. Basically, he didn't feel like he could stick through a full season. That's basically what I gathered, based on the quotes that I just read. But as far as Fournier, I love Reggie Bullock. Reggie Bullock was the Knicks' best on-ball defender last year. I thought he did a terrific job last year for the Knicks. But the thing with Reggie Bullock, as much as I like him and as you know, he's one of my favorite players on the Knicks team last year, he's a one-dimensional offensive player. He's a guy that you stick in the corner and you say shoot your threes when you're open. Fournier brings a lot more to the table offensively. It's a huge upgrade for the Knicks. Pete, man, thank you very much. Do you agree Barrett and IQ could develop into all-star caliber players? Maybe one of them. If one of them really comes on, if Toppin also comes on into starting caliber, does that change the outlook? Long-term, I think that's possible for sure. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a big Barrett fan. If anybody watches my Knicks streams, they know that. Maybe I'll be wrong in the end. I'm not saying Barrett's going to be an elite superstar, but I think Barrett's going to be a damn good player in this league. When you think about R.J. Barrett last year, R.J. Barrett, and, I don't got to go over the statistics, but he improved in every single statistical category imaginable at the age of 20. 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, had less turnovers and more minutes offensively, showed pretty good spurts of being a potentially very good defender in the NBA, and he was only 20 years old. And he did all of that without a point guard. Elfrid Payton was his starting point guard. You think about what Barrett could do with better ball movement, with a better threat on the court, like an Evan Fournier, like a Kemba Walker. That's only going to help R.J. Barrett mature and get better as a basketball player. Obviously, he's got things to work on, right? I say it all the time when I watch R.J. Barrett play. The one thing that I can't stand about his game, not that I can't stand, but the one thing he definitely needs to work on, when he's dribbling, it doesn't seem like he has a plan when he's going to the basket. He'll dribble the ball up his knee. He'll have silly turnovers as he's attacking the basket. But in terms of his shooting, it got so much better last year. And his form was always there. You saw it in his rookie year. I think he's only going to become a much better player in the NBA. He's a guy that I have a lot of faith in. John, man, thank you very much. My starting five is Mitch, Randall, Fournier, RJ, Kemba, bench, Noel, Taj, Obi, Burks, IQ, Grimes, Rose McBride. I wonder how Tibbs. I agree with that. I think that's your lineup. Maybe Noel instead of Mitch if they feel like maybe he's a little bit banged up, whatever it may be. But I think Mitch and Noel will probably split the minutes. We all know that Mitch traditionally gets ticky-tack fouls. So I think that'll be about a 22 to 25 minute for each player type situation there. But I would guess that Mitch will probably be in the starting lineup to start. And he's definitely going to provide a huge boost for the New York Knicks this year. But yeah, I think that's the starting lineup you're looking at. And the bench is stacked. I don't know every team's bench around the league, but when you look at that bench and you factor in that Obi's going to get better, IQ's going to get better, Grimes should help a little bit in terms of shooting from the outside. Obviously Noel could start for a lot of teams in the NBA. Burks was great for us last year. The Knicks have a very deep team going into next year, and that should only help us in the regular season. Who the hell is – you don't know who Miles Turner is? You don't know who Miles Turner is? Miles Turner's with the Indiana Pacers. Led the league in blocks last year, I think. And there were rumors that the Knicks may potentially be interested in bringing him in. Elfrid Payton, thank God the Elf is on the shelf. Thank God. Thank God Elfrid Payton is no longer a New York Knick, and I don't have to say his name when I'm calling basketball games. I felt bad for Elfrid Payton. Not that he's a great player, not that he's even a good player. He's a bad player at this point. I thought he was a little bit maybe overhated than he should have been because I think Knicks fans wanted to see, obviously quickly in there and growing, and we all knew that Rose was a much better player. I'm just glad he's gone so Knicks fans don't destroy him every chance they get now. Hunter, man, thank you very much. RJ is going to be one of the best slashers in the league in a few years. He gets to the basket but doesn't finish. Having RJ drive more, yeah, exactly. And I think and Hunter, man, thank you very much. And I think by adding these shooters, it's going to give him driving lanes. It's going to give him the ability to get to the hoop more efficiently. And and like I said, in my opinion at least, it doesn't always seem like he has a plan when he's going to the hoop. Sometimes it's just a head down. But you could see he's got those crafty moves around the rim, which was always the book on him when we brought him in to begin with. He's got the Euro step. He's very good in terms of his body control. He's a smart basketball player. He's just got to mature and grow. I think he's going to end up being a very good player for this New York Knicks team long term. What's your thoughts on losing Bullock? Somebody asked me. Elf is gone, man. Yeah, Elf's got to leave, man. My thoughts on Bullock, I like Bullock. He was probably our best on-ball defender last year. But let's put it this way. I'd much rather have Evan Fournier for what he's going to provide for this offense. And Fournier is not a horrible defender in his own right. So, yeah, I like who we got. And keeping Burks, I think, was huge. You know, it's not like Bullock provides a lot offensively. He's a pretty efficient three-point shooter, but the guy can't create his own shot. He's a guy that kind of stands in the corner. I liked him. He was a good player. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Courtney Lee, like that type of player. But we had to lose somebody. We weren't going to be able to bring everybody back. And I was actually surprised we were able to bring back as many players as we did. Most people thought we were going to bring back at best 2 players. We ended up bringing back 3. So I was excited about that. I think Noel was kind of a surprise that I did not expect that the Knicks were able to keep that bench intact. And Hunter Man, thank you very much. He says, who's the best on-ball defender without Bullock? It might end up being Barrett. Yeah, I think Barrett's only going to get better defensively. Like I said, I think the one game that stood out to me last year with RJ Barrett defensively was against the Clippers. I remember calling that game earlier in the season, not the one that we won. And I thought he did a terrific job on Kawhi Leonard. I think he's got potential to be a very good defender in the NBA. It might end up being RJ Barrett is our best on-ball defender for this Knicks team going forward, but we'll see. And Jai, glad to see you. What's going on, Jai? Thanks, popping. She says, just tried to renew my NBA League pass. I'm hyped. I cannot wait. And Grimes is a good defender as well, D-Wins. I cannot wait until the next season this year. It's going to be a really fun year. I can't wait. Chris, check what I just sent you on Twitter, some Knicks news. All right, Taco, let me take a quick look. I'm assuming it was through the notifications because you don't usually send me a message. Let me see. What'd you say? You said Kemba Walker will sign a 2-year contract with the Knicks in the $8 to $9 million range. That's nothing. Yeah, we basically got him almost for a vet's minimum. I mean, that's a steal. I mean, Kemba Walker is still a guy when he's healthy, is a very good player in the NBA, and he's definitely going to help our backcourt. So the Knicks got a steal, and I think it obviously has a lot to do with the fact, one, Kemba's from New York. He probably, looks at it as an attractive destination. He's a New York legend. He wants to come back home. And 2, he probably sees an opportunity to really play a lot of minutes with the Knicks and take off and really help this basketball team. So he came here probably for a bit of a discount. I think it's a great deal for the Knicks. They are trying to copy the Brooklyn Nets. How so are they trying to copy the Brooklyn Nets? If they were trying to copy the Brooklyn Nets, they would just try to trade for every superstar under the sun. I don't see how they're trying to copy the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, maybe long-term that'll be the plan. I mean, that's how you win. You have to eventually be able to bring superstars on your basketball team. Let's see what we got here. Knicks don't need Kemba to play 30-plus minutes a night. Could split minutes with Rose. I agree. I think that's what he's going to be, Nick. I think it's going to be a near even distribution, much like the center position, like I was saying earlier, between Noel and Mitch. I think it'll be the same thing at the point guard spot. I think you're talking about 23 to 28 minutes a game between Derrick Rose. And that's the same thing with Rose. We talked about that all year. We didn't want to see Derrick Rose fall off because they were playing him a ton of minutes, specifically in the playoffs. So I think it'll be a near even distribution at the point guard spot. Let's see what we got here. Do you think we could flip Kemba for Dame? No. Kemba's old. No, definitely not. McBride's a good pickup too. Yep. But we lost a lot of close games last year, and that's because we didn't have a closer. Now with Kemba, we got that. Yeah, I mean, the closest thing last year that we had to a closer was Rose. I mean, Randall, countless times. We would watch Julius Randle put up shots, and we'd say to ourselves, this guy can't hit the big basket. I don't think he had one game-winning shot all year. RJ Barrett, same thing. RJ Barrett didn't really have any game-winning shots. Kemba will bring that to this basketball team. Rose, like I said, was the closest thing in terms of a shot creator that this Knicks team had last year. So adding Kemba Walker, adding Evan Fournier is definitely going to assist in that aspect. Yeah, I didn't say they weren't the same age, but Kemba's injury prone. Kemba's missed like half the games over the last 2 years. He's had 2 major knee injuries. I don't see what attraction Kemba Walker would provide to the Portland Trailblazers. If you're trading Damian Lillard, you're not doing it for Kemba Walker. You're doing it to get draft assets and young players. You're doing it to rebuild. You're not doing it to get another older point guard. Dame Lillard's old too. He just doesn't carry the same injury history and is still at the top of his game. So I just don't see it. They would want young players and they would want draft picks. They would want RJ Barrett. They would want Obi Toppin. They'd want Emmanuel Quickly, and they'd want draft picks. They wouldn't want a 31, 32-year-old point guard that's had knee problems over the last 2 or 3 years. Doesn't add up for me. Let's see what we got here. I mean, sure, he could be a part of the package. He would maybe but definitely not the focal point of the package. The focal point of the package is going to be R.J. Barrett and draft picks. Kemba Walker's not going to be an attraction for them. Maybe to offset some salary. Let's see what we got here. Breaking Knicks reset. Don't ever do that to me again with Elfrid Payton. I know it's a basketball stream, but should we be nervous? Should we be nervous on how players keep retiring? I'll talk about that in a video later today. Listen, if players can't handle Joe Judge, I don't want him here at the end of the day. Period. I mean, he probably felt like he couldn't get through training camp, and it's not for him. Joe Judge is going to run the program how he wants to run it. If people can't put up with it, I don't want him on the New York Giants. I don't want these guys babied. Let's see what we got here. Is picking up Kemba, does that mean we're out on the – yes, we're not getting – well, I mean, no, I won't say we're definitely out on Damian Lillard long term. It's possible. Let's say the Knicks let's just play the game and say, the Knicks are doing really well this year, and they're well within the playoff race. And, say they're the 3 seed in the East and everything's going right, or the 4 seed in the East, and they feel like they're one huge player away from being able to contend to go to an NBA championship. It's possible they could try to make a trade for Damian Lillard. You'd have to give up a ton of first-round picks, and you'd probably have to include R.J. Barrett. Maybe at that point, Obi Toppin's taken off as a basketball player. You could include him. I don't know. If we're going to get Lillard, it's going to be midseason. If we're going to get any big-time player at this point via trade, it's going to be midseason. It's not going to be now. Because the NBA draft was really the time when it was going to happen. Now that the draft is over, I don't see the Knicks making any big moves via trade until at least the trade deadline this year. Why are we nervous about Joe Looney and Tom? I don't think he's necessarily saying. By the way, I'm gonna. I know it's a midday stream, so maybe not a lot of people call in. I just like doing the midday streams. It's relaxed. I will post a link if anybody wants to call in and talk some Knicks basketball. Not so much the Looney talk. I'm gonna have live. Giants video call-ins very soon as well. Once we have a lot of stuff to talk about, probably in about a week when I do the midday streams, I'll allow some of you guys to call in. We'll talk some Giants football. But I'll put the link if you guys want to call in and talk some Knicks basketball, talk about the roster, talk about some of the roster moves that the Knicks have made. But as far as Looney and Davis, Justin, I don't think, at least from what I gathered, I don't think that he's saying that he's necessarily nervous that they left. It's more so, are people scared to play for Joe Judge? Is he running players away? I think that's more so what he's getting at. But personally, I'm not worried about that at all. Can we keep – we're not keeping Frank. We're not keeping – I don't think so. I mean, you look at what the Knicks did. I mean, they brought in a ton of guards via the draft. They got Vildosa coming in now. They just – they re-signed Rose. They just go out and get Kemba Walker. I don't see it. I don't think Frank Ntilikina is going to be a part of this basketball team next year. Yeah, French toast. That's the link right there, by the way, if anybody does want to call in. I just put it in the chat. I'll put it in again just in case it didn't go in. I don't know. Where do you see IQ and Obi for us long term, Chris? I mean, to me, Obi's still a question mark. I still think Obi could be a good player. I think Obi's at a disadvantage because the Knicks, it's kind of like, I feel like having Randall on the team is almost hurting Obi's ability to progress as a basketball player. And I think when the Knicks made that draft pick, they didn't expect Julius Randle to be as good as he was. Quickly, I think long-term, I'm not going to be a Knicks fan that overrates Quickly. I know Quickly is everybody's in love with Quickly. I see several people on Twitter saying that they think he can be a superstar, that he should be the starting point guard. I'm not going to go that far with Emmanuel Quickly. And maybe he will. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I love Emmanuel Quickly. I think Emmanuel Quickly is going to be a very valuable contributor for this Knicks team long-term. I think he's a combo guard. I think he's a guy that could definitely be a big-time contributor off the bench, a six-man long-term. Maybe he could eventually develop into a starter. And I think he's a good. I think he's a good basketball player. I don't know if he's necessarily ever going to be a superstar. Much like I say with Barrett, and Quickly's young. There's a lot of times when I'll see Quickly and I'll scratch my head and I'll say, not the smartest of ideas. Early on, he looked very crafty, and then I think defenses got used to it. But he was drawing a lot of three-point fouls early on in the season. Sometimes he'll jack up a three, and I'll shake my head. I'll be like, what the hell is this guy doing? But he's a rookie. He's going to grow. He's going to get better. I'm not going to put superstar expectations on Quickly, but I think he's going to be a very valuable contributor for the Knicks long term. All right. Let's bring in Taco. Taco always asks me to go live and talk Knicks. What's going on, Taco?
Hey, Chris, how are you doing, my man? How
you doing,
Chris?
What's going on, buddy?
Everything's good. I'm really happy with this Knicks offseason. I really am.
What's your favorite? What was your favorite move?
This Kemba Walker signing for sure today. I mean, that I think this is a still of a move. I don't think anyone saw this coming. And to be honest, the old Knicks, they would have probably traded for Kemba Walker and his whole entire contract. No. This is the new Knicks, Chris. This is the new Knicks, and I'm really happy. We're building. We're building for the future.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing I'm most excited, and I'm a big Barrett guy. That's who I'm most excited for. There's
Right,
so many times
I wasn't a big Barrett guy. You know that at the beginning of the year. But
yeah,
I'm really starting to have faith in Barrett, and I think he could take a big jump, especially with guys coming in who could take pressure off him and Julius Randle.
yeah,
So I think that will be big for him.
I think adding those guys, like you said, Fournier and him is gonna help stretch the floor. It's gonna open up the court for guys like Barrett to be able to get easier trips to the lane. And I always thought Barrett is going to be a guy, and he's got to improve his free throw shooting, which he did last year, but it's got to get even better. That is going to get a lot of trips to the line. He's tall, he's crafty around the rim. I think he's more powerful than people give him credit for. And when you have shooters like that could stretch the floor, it's only going to help him.
Yeah, definitely going to help him. And look, people, including myself, obviously want the big star, obviously want that Damian Lillard and all that. But at the end of the day, if you were being realistic, this is what was going to happen. We weren't going to go out and get a Damian Lillard this offseason unless he was available, which, again, right now he's not available. So I think with what the free agency was and the players that were free agents, I think the Knicks did a very good job.
Yeah, I'm just going to read this real quick for Pete. Thank you very much. You're not going to like this, but I feel strongly Quickly is going to be much better than Barrett, future All-Star. Hey, as long as one of them becomes a future All-Star, I'll be thrilled.
Of course.
I'm obviously more high on Barrett. I like both of them. I think they're both going to be valuable contributors long term. But we'll see. I'm a big fan of Barrett though. But hey, man, I'm excited though. I was a little bit. I think like a lot of Knicks fans, I was underwhelmed with the draft. I think a lot of us saw that it was a deep draft. We saw the ability to potentially move up with the two draft picks that we had at 19.
I thought we were going to move up as players started to fall. I thought we were going to move up, but again, I really like the Grimes guy. I really like Grimes, and I think
Grimes is a good pickup. He could shoot.
I think it was a good pickup.
The book on him is he's a good defender. Sounds like he could be a valuable contributor for this Knicks team. But I think we were all a little bit underwhelmed with the draft, and we said, all right, they didn't trade up, they didn't use those picks to potentially bring in a proven star to this team. All right, let's wait. Let's see what they do in free agency. And then I think the Knicks did about as good of a job as you could have hoped for, being that there were no superstars available. You maintain your strong bench, and you brought in two guys that are going to instantly be starters and help this basketball
when a
team.
star does become available. If it's the trade deadline or next year, we still have picks.
Yeah, you had a first-round pick from the Wizards, which I think is lottery protected. Not the Wizards, rather the Hornets, was it? Which I think,
sure.
Yeah, the Hornets, which I think is lottery protected. But regardless, you had another future first-round pick that should help this Knicks team down the line. So I love what they did, man. They kept their young talent. They got more future assets, and they added guys that are going to instantly help this basketball team.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. At first, when I saw the Evan Fournier signing, my first gut reaction was like, wow, maybe a little too much money, maybe too many years. But then as I thought it through, I really liked the signing. Like, yeah, it's still 3 years, but he's a better player than Reggie Bullock. He could create his own shot. He could have one of those games when you need it to put a team on his back. Him with Kemba Walker, and hopefully Julius Randle stays the same or gets better, and RJ becoming better, and D Rose and his influence on the young guys. I think this team could be a really good team. I really do, and I think it could take a big step forward, not a huge step, but a nice step forward for the future.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like what they did, and I can't wait. Obviously, I can't wait for Giants football. You know that, but I can't wait.
Well, because that's going to be on Daniel Jones, but that's a discussion for another day. Yeah, I'm too excited for the Knicks that I just can't think about Daniel Jones and whatever. Even though I do think he'll be good, I think we're going to be good, and Giants fans should not worry about training camp. I'm sorry to tell you that. Training
Yeah, no,
camp's not real football.
don't get too high, don't get too low. Just make sure they get out of there healthy. And obviously, what we're worried about right now is Galladay, but it seems like it's a positive report. I'm sure I'll talk about that later as well.
They reported that it's that the Giants dodged a bullet. Like it's a minor pull that he'll be okay. So
we'll
that's
see,
good
man.
there.
We'll see. Taco, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to the chat for a little bit more, then I'll bring in another guy. But thank you so much, man, for all the support you always show on the channel, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for going live.
You got it, my man.
I appreciate it, and I can't wait for Giants football.
All right, buddy. Be good, my man.
Yeah. See you.
All right. So Coach Carter asked me a question when I was live. He said, keep your picks. Why would we trade 2 picks in a deep draft for this? Yeah, I mean, listen, my explanation to you, and I know it was a very deep draft, like you said, that was the book on the draft, and the Knicks had a pick in a very deep draft at 19 and 21. A lot of people felt like they should have stayed where they were. The only reasonable explanation I have for you is the Knicks obviously were probably torn between 3, 4, 5 players, and they said, they were probably higher on Grimes than maybe a lot of people may have been, and they said, all right, maybe we didn't get the guy we were really looking for. We like 4 or 5 guys here. Let's trade back. Let's get that future first-round pick. I think they ended up getting the 25th pick after all was said and done, and then 30, I don't even remember. I think 34 and 36. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me. I think they probably had a bunch of players that they were kind of scrunched together. They didn't have one guy that was well above any of the others, and they said, let's get a future first-round pick that we could potentially either use to help improve this team via the draft or use to, put in a trade to be able to bring in a superstar in the future. That's the only reasonable explanation I could give to you. You still, so you want to trade Mitchell Robinson, Kyle Korver. You want to trade Mitchell Robinson for Miles Turner? Maybe. I mean, if Mitch isn't going to be here long term, which maybe he won't be, based on the Noel signing, it's possible. I don't know how he would fit under the cap, though. I don't know Miles Turner's contract at this point in time. And NY Giants 26, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, just got back from practice. Very surprised to see Kemba and Nick. I'm excited. Joe Looney retired. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that later today. I'll have a video later today, give my opinion on all of it. But I found out about that literally as soon as I went live, that Looney retired today. So I'll talk about all that. And a lot of people are going to be worried about maybe the impact that Judge has on the team and all these players deciding to retire. But once I get all the full details and why he retired and have all the quotes, I'll talk about that later today. But yeah, man, I'm excited about Kemba. I think he's going to really help this basketball team this year. And it was an unexpected signing that I really didn't see the Knicks making. So it was kind of a very pleasant surprise. I think what made this possible, from what I read, I think it's the bird rights. I think the Knicks used the bird rights, if I'm not mistaken, on Derrick Rose, which gave them, I think, about $10 to $12 million of cap space, which allowed them to make this move today, which I think definitely helps this year's team. Knicks paid way too much for Fournier. Yeah, on a per-year basis, I think it was about his market value. Like, if you go and look at what players get paid that are kind of equivalent to his skill set, $18-19 million a year seems to be the going rate. Wasn't in love with the signing. I thought they gave him one too many years. I would have preferred 3 years with an option to get out after 2, like they did with the other contracts with Noel and everybody else. They ultimately ended up having to guarantee him an extra year. So not in love with that. I'll agree with you on that, but it was probably the only way they were going to be able to get him here. John, man, thank you very much. To the people saying, trade away RJ, stop it already. We overachieved last year. People keep forgetting that we are still building towards consistently playing in the playoffs. Mitch's contract is $1.8 million. Yeah. We're not trading RJ Barrett. We're not trading RJ Barrett. We're not. I mean, maybe in the future it's possible if the right opportunity presented itself, but you want this guy to continue to grow. That's why I think you brought these players in. Obviously, you want to win and compete and win championships, but you want to be able to surround these young players with better talent around them to get the most out of them, to build their confidence, to grow as basketball players. So that's what I'm excited about, man. I think we're setting up RJ Barrett to really grow as a basketball player. That's the way I took it, man. I don't want to trade him though. Who do you prefer, Schroeder or Fournier? Well, I mean, Schroeder's more of a point guard, right? Fournier's, more of a shooting guard / small forward. He's kind of a swing, different positions. So hard to compare him. But being that we got Kemba Walker, obviously, I think Fournier is the better fit. Obviously, this was probably the Knicks' plan all along. So I like Fournier, though. He could do, different things. He could even, run the point a little bit. He could do a lot of things. So I like Fournier. I think it was a really good pickup for us. But 20 years old, budding superstar. Yeah, he'll be 21 next year, but he's great. Matt, man, what's going on, buddy? Point guard Walker, shooting guard Fournier, small forward Barrett, power forward Randall, center Robinson. that with our bench depth, yeah, if we stay healthy, Knicks are definitely over 500 next year with the team that we have. With Tom Thibodeau, with what he's going to demand out of these guys, I have no doubt in my mind. Knicks are going to be over 500 next year, and they're going to be a competitive basketball team. No doubt about it. And RJ Barrett's going to improve as a basketball player. But let me bring on the next caller. What's going on, Steve? Man, thanks for popping in. Mike Nixon on the line. How you doing, Mikey?
I'm doing good, Entertainer. How are you?
Glad to hear you, buddy, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So what'd you want to talk about?
I just love this move. Kemba's one of my favorite point guards. I followed him all throughout college. I think he fits our team to a key.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tariq, in case you didn't get the thumbs up from what I was doing there, I was trying to tell you, yes, that's what they got him for. I think it was $8 or $9 million is what we got him for on a 2-year deal per year. So yeah, we got him close to the veterans minimum. Very very low. Let's put it that way. We got him on a very cheap deal. I think the only thing that you worry about with Kemba Walker is the injuries. I mean, the guy's missed significant time over the last 2 years. He's had knee problems, knee troubles, and that's what you worry about. But I just said to him, who just asked the question, there's no risk here. You're paying this guy $8 million. If he has knee troubles, he's gone. It's not like the Celtics who were paying him a max contract, and it really hurt the basketball team. We're paying him next to nothing. He's a guy with upside, the guy that scored 20 points last year, a New York legend, and he's going to instantly be able to come in here and start at the point guard spot and split minutes with Rose. So I don't know how you can't be happy if you're a Knicks fan with this deal.
For real. And truthfully, I didn't like the Fournier signing. I think he's inconsistent.
You don't like Fournier?
I'm still up in the air on it. He plays good at times and bad at times. He's just really inconsistent for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like the signing, but I like I said earlier, I don't love the extra year, but I like the signing. I think he's exactly actually what we needed offensively. He definitely could stretch the floor and create his own shot, something we clearly lacked in our offense. Starting lineup last year, when you looked at what we had, who creates their own shot? Barrett doesn't really create his own shot. Bullock couldn't create his own shot. Randall, kind of, but not really. Not great off the dribble.
And quickly, sorta, but you can't expect a rookie to be able to come in the league and just be able to create his own shot. He has to develop it.
Yeah. No, for sure, Mike. But where do you see this team going this year in the Eastern Conference?
I see us around the 5th to 8th seed, somewhere around there.
So we're more than likely a first-round exit again.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what we do at the deadline and what we do to improve this team. But I got them right around that area as well. 5-6 seed in the East. And I think it has as much to do with and like Mike just said, which I was going to pull up here, Mike Boy, there's other teams in the Eastern Conference that really improved themselves. I think Miami got a lot better. Indiana, like he said, got better. So it's going to be tough. And, but we'll see. Teams may develop injuries, whatever it may be. So we'll see. I think we're going to be a competitive team this year. I can't wait. Mike, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to the chat a little bit more.
And Athena, I just want to say thank you for all you do, man.
All right, my man. Thank you for calling in, buddy.
All right, no problem.
All right, Mike, be good. The Italian Scallion says he actually sees a 9th to 12th. Before I answer that, I'd have to look at all the rosters. I don't think so, though. I think we'll be better than that. I could see like a 6 or a 7 seed, just because I think the East is is much better this year. And last year there were a lot of injuries, so we'll see. But I'm not going to go as far to say a 9th to a 12 seed. Obviously, if we was sustain a lot of injuries, anything could happen. But I don't think Thibodeau is going to let that happen. Yeah, I know about Joe Looney. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to make a video on that later today when I get to see all the details. It happened while I was live. But yeah, a little bit of a surprise there for sure. Should we be called the geriatric Knicks? Apparently, when they were sprinting yesterday, Saquon was running with. But why pay $78 million for Fournier and not Lonzo? Bull or Kawhi. We weren't going to get Kawhi. We weren't going to get Kawhi. We were never going to get Kawhi. And he was going to get paid a lot more than that. I don't know what Kawhi signed, but I would assume it was a max deal. We were never going to get Kawhi. As far as Ball go, listen, I wanted Lonzo Ball. I think he got a 4-year, $85 million deal. I think it was about $21 million a year. I would have been all about Lonzo Ball, especially for that price. I thought it was a pretty good contract. So I'm with you on that. Maybe he didn't want to come here, though. Who knows? I know we heard rumors that it was between the Bulls and the Knicks months ago. Maybe ultimately he wanted the Bulls. Who knows? But from what I heard, didn't sound like the Knicks made much of an effort to bring in Lonzo Ball. It's not like Lonzo Ball has been great his entire career, but obviously a good distributor, and he's still young and he could grow as a basketball player. So I would have been all about Lonzo Ball. Who knows? Maybe he didn't want to come here. It's as though fans forget. Yeah. It's as though fans forget players don't. Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with the Giants. Heck, it's the same thing with the Giants. They, when I forgot who it was a middle linebacker. What's his name? He ended up with the Rams, I think. I can't even remember. There was a middle linebacker 2 years ago. Why am I forgetting the guy's name? I wanted him, but Giant fans were flipping out that we ended up getting Blake Martinez. But it turned out he never wanted to come to the New York Giants. You can't always blame the organization. Sometimes players, they have the choice to want to sign here and come here. Who knows? Lonzo Ball may not have wanted to come to play with the New York Knicks. Corey Littleton. There it is. Corey Littleton. Yep. Corey Littleton. That's the one. I wanted him bad. Turns out Martinez ended up being a much better player for the Giants last year than Littleton was. Where is the logic in paying $78 million for Fournier? Once again, Dolan proves the point that when it comes to the Knicks, Dolan is a cancer. What needs to be cut away? Agree. I mean, I don't hate I hate the extra year. If it was 3 years with a 2-year opt-out, I'm completely fine with it. And I think what we have to, we don't know the long-term plan. They may think of Fournier as a guy they're going to keep for 2 years and then try to trade, including a trade for a potential superstar, right? Because it would be an expiring contract. It would be the 3rd year on his deal. That may be the plan, right? So, you gotta let them see how the plan plays out. I think Fournier was the type of player we really needed. I think he's going to help this team. Is he a superstar? No. But I think he's a guy that's going to help further develop some of the younger players on this team. So let's let it play out. I still think there's going to be a trade. I don't know if it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be next year. I think the Knicks ultimately are going to make a trade once they feel like they've built up enough draft capital, their players have progressed, and try to bring in a big-time superstar when they feel the time is right. And Evan Fournier could very well be involved in that trade to offset some of the salary that they're taking in. So you got to let it play out. Might be in a year, might be in 2 years. Knicks window is not now. No, it's not now. I wasn't high on Lonzo, but he's still young and was a top 2 to 3 player in free agency. Yeah, listen, I was all about Lonzo. I would have loved to bring Lonzo in here. Tana, I just joined. Thoughts on Kemba. Kemba Walker is no risk, high reward. That's the way I look at it. You're not risking anything. You're paying this guy $8 million over the next 2 years. No risk, high reward. Obviously, a guy with injury problems with his knees, but you're not risking anything. And he's going to come in and he's going to be a starter day one. So what is there not to like about this signing, man? I like this signing a lot. We're going to bring in the last caller. I didn't see anybody else. Then we'll talk to the chat for the rest of the time. What's going on, John?
Stand up, the entertainer. Looking like that old baby. We're coming. We're coming, Stan. We're coming, Chris.
What's up, my man?
I'm good, man. I don't have too much to say about your Knicks because, I don't really watch them that much. But for a Knicks fan, you should be a little bit encouraged. But they are going to get kicked out the first round coming up this year anyway because you still got the Sixers, you still got the Nets, you still got Milwaukee. You still got – I think you'll be better than Atlanta. Atlanta, I think, just was
Miami's
fortunate.
Good.
Miami. Yeah, so I think these will be a first-round exit. But I like the piece that you signed, and these are moving in the right direction. Just don't get too hyped up since you should be able to get back to the playoffs. You should be able to progress, not degress. And like I said, we're coming for you. My Phillies are coming, and you're going to keep like how everybody stepped on Joe Judge last year, where your Giants and the Giants progressed. Don't sleep on my Eagles, baby. We're coming. And Jalen Hurts, mark my words, he will be better than Daniel Jones, and he will be wearing a Harper jersey at the end of the year, Chris.
You're, of course, referring to the bet we made at the beginning of the year when I said the Mets were going to win the division. I'll wear a Phillies jersey. Yeah, Mets are still going to win the division. They're going to find a way to get it done, but we'll see.
I hope you're wrong, Chris, because my Phillies have blown games and we haven't taken advantage of the injuries that you guys have had. So it really gives you an encouraging thing that the Mets could possibly still edge us out. But I really hope we're starting to turn the corner for this last month or so.
As far as what you had to say about Jalen Hurts, listen, I'm sleeping on him. I got sleeping pills. I got 3 pillows. I am sleeping on Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be horrible this year. I'm not worried about him, but we'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, and I'll take Daniel Jones 10 times out of 10 over Jalen Hurts. But we'll see when they put the pads on. I can't wait.
One more question, Chris. When you get the tickets, can you let me know so I can send you the money so we can all have the same seats? I don't know how you're going to do that. As far as
I'll let you know. I'll let you know where I'm going to be sitting. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, one of my subscribers actually reached out to me, and I think he offered me tickets. So when I find out where those seats are, I'll let you know.
Okay, Chris, you're the man always, and fly Eagles fly, baby.
All right, my man, be good, buddy. Be good.
All right, you too.
John, longtime subscriber of mine. Always love to talk to him, even though he roots for the trashiest of the trashiest organizations. He roots for the Phillies, he roots for the Eagles, but there's nothing he could do about it. I guess he was born into it. Maybe he fell on his head as a child. I don't know. But no, I'm just kidding, John, man. Thank you for calling in. But yeah, I'll talk to the chat for a little bit more. Like I said, I'll do some Giants talk. I may even go live for the Giants tonight if I feel like it's appropriate. If not, I'll make a video on it tonight. Being that there's some Giants news, I'll probably just make a video. But we'll see. Obviously, there's some stuff with the Giants as well. But here to talk some Knicks. Let's see what we got here. Do you think the Knicks rookies will play somewhat this year? Yes. I think not a lot, though. When you look at this roster, where is Grimes going to get a lot of minutes? He'll get some. Where's he going to get a lot of minutes? I don't see it. Like, you look how deep our bench is. Whether Kemba's the starter or whether Rose is the starter, you pick. I saw somebody in the chat say there's no way Kemba's going to start. Okay, then you think Rose is going to start, or you think Quickly's going to start. I don't know who you think's going to start. It won't be Grimes. Regardless, Kemba's going to play. So when you look at the bench, whether it's Kemba, whether it's Rose on the bench, you got Noel who's going to get minutes. You've got Toppin who's going to get some minutes. You got Quickly who's obviously going to get some minutes. So I think Grimes will get some time, but I don't see him getting more than, 15, 18 minutes unless there's injuries. But he's clearly a guy that, could help. He's a good shooter. He shot over 40% from downtown last year, known to be a pretty good defender. I think it's going to be hard for him to get a lot of minutes, though, but we'll see. Thibodeau's shown last year he's not a guy that's going to look to develop players. He's a guy that's going to look to win games as quickly as possible. So that's the way I look at it. If he feels Grimes is going to give him the best opportunity to win, he'll get more minutes. But I just think it's going to be hard with how deep we are on this bench for him to play a ton of minutes. Rose will be the starter. I think you were the guy that said, hey, maybe it will be Rose. Maybe it will be Rose Esco. I don't know. Who knows? I think regardless, here's what I'll say to you. Regardless of who starts, I think they're going to split minutes. I think Kemba and Rose are going to get about the same exact amount of minutes. And I think it'll be in the 24 to 27 minute range, maybe 28 minutes. I don't see either one getting more than 28 minutes a game. You got to worry about health. You got to worry about their longevity. They're both not the youngest players in the world. I worried about that a lot with Rose last year, that he may get ran into the ground at the point guard position. So regardless, I think they both get about 25 to 28 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark, regardless of who starts. And like I said earlier, I could care less who starts. I care who finishes. Chris, is the market Fournier? People have to get you. Yeah, it is the market. It is the market. I just don't like the extra year. I'm very happy with the Knicks team pickups in free agency. How could you not be? I don't know. I think anybody that's complaining about this Knicks free agency is being a little bit too, picky. I mean, I don't know how you can complain with what was out there in the market and the fact that Knicks didn't give up any future, any of their young core, and how I think it's going to help their young players progress. I don't know how you couldn't be happy with what the Knicks did this offseason. Obviously, it wasn't the moon and the stars. We didn't get Kawhi Leonard, but if you were being realistic, you knew we were never going to get Kawhi Leonard. Let's see what we got here. Are you streaming the Knicks Summer League? I might do a game or two. I might do a game or two. We'll see. Yeah, I know Looney retired. I'm going to talk about that later. I found out while I was live, Carlito. Chris, hate to be annoying, but the Kemba thing isn't official. I mean, from what I heard, I just read on Twitter that Kemba Walker will sign a 2-year contract with the Knicks, $8 to $9 million range per league sources. New York, maybe it's not official, but it sounds like it's going to happen. So I think he's coming here. I've seen everybody talking about it. I agree. I think it was an A-. Yeah, maybe you don't give it an A, but it was pretty damn close. The only thing that knocks it down maybe to an A-, maybe a B+ if I'm being really stingy, is like I said, I wasn't in love with the extra year on the Fournier contract. But outside of that, I mean, it's pretty close, man. It's not like we were going to get a superstar picking at 19 or 21 anyway. I think they had a pretty damn good offseason. They improved the team. Let's see. Yeah, it's not official, but it's going to happen for sure. Yeah. I think the Knicks will make the playoffs, and I hope so. I hope the Knicks win the first round of the playoffs. We'll see, man. Kemba needs to play 2 off the bench. Listen, I don't care who plays off the bench. Like I said, Rose or Kemba. If Thibodeau feels Rose is the better starter, go that route. Rose is making more money. That's what he'll do, maybe. I don't know. I don't care. As long as they both get minutes, I think they're both going to help this basketball team. How could Kemba not pull out playing in his hometown? I think you underestimate the impact he can have on a player. I don't. I love Kemba. I think Kemba's going to be a good fit for this Knicks team. So I'm not underestimating him. Maybe you're talking to somebody else in the chat. Do you think this team would have beat the Hawks? That's a good question. They might have. I mean, the Hawks are really good. You know, I think a lot of us going into that series underestimated the Hawks. They had won, I think, like 30 out of their last 42 games with Nate McMillan as the head coach. So I'm going to give the Hawks some credit, and they completely annihilated us in that series. We were lucky, really, to even win one game. We probably could have won another. Some were close. We blew some leads, but they outmanned us that entire series. But if you add Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, you take away Reggie Bullock, not Derrick Rose, rather, Kemba Walker, and they're healthy, it would have been a much better series. We definitely would have had a much better chance. Let's put it that way. Yeah, for sure. I think we could have beat them for sure. Not saying we would have, but we definitely could have. Yes. Neil Keane is a free agent, isn't he? Crazy? I don't think he's a free agent. The Knicks elected not to sign him to the. They had some kind of offer they could have given to him. They didn't do it. Matt says, I think the way the team will play better as a whole, but no way will they be the 4th seed again. I mean, I won't say no way, Matt, but without injuries, I agree with you. Like, because you don't know. Maybe the Nets have injuries, maybe the Heat have, But if if the better teams stay healthy, I agree with you. I don't think we'll get a 4 seed. Unless we make a trade and we bring in a big-time player at the trade deadline, then that obviously changes everything. But the way this roster currently is and how much the other teams in the conference improve, if they stay healthy, I agree with you. I don't think we'll be a 4 seed in these. Maybe a 5, maybe a 6. Yeah, Frank's still not signed with anyone. Yep, but he's not on our roster right now. Do you think we should sign JJ Redick on a 1-year deal? I don't see the attraction for JJ Redick here because how is he going to play? I don't know, man. I don't think he would get many minutes here. I'm always up for getting more shooting, but I don't know. And I don't know how much of an impact he would have at this point in his career. True Rappers, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, let's say Kemba absolutely bowls out. I assume the right thing to do is flip him for a profit, right? Yeah, I mean, if you can, I don't know. I don't know how much trade value the guy's going to have. But yes, if you could include him in a trade and get a potential superstar, yeah, you do it. If he has a great year and next offseason, you could include him with draft picks. Maybe a guy like Quickly or Toppin, and you could bring in a superstar. Yeah, absolutely, you do it, man. You try to sell high, absolutely, but. I'm looking forward to seeing him in Knicks uniform. New York legend. I think he's going to do a great job with this basketball team. But I guess maybe Tibbs could play IQ plus Grimes off the bench once in a while, depending on the situation. Give the oldies a rest. Yeah, no, I'm sure he's going to pick his spots to get Grimes in the game here and there, for sure, if that's what you're saying. It's not about Kemba coming out strong. It's about if he could finish. Yeah, well, they can't run him into the ground. It's the same thing we said about Derrick Rose last year. You can't run him to the ground. They got to be smart with his minutes. And that's something that I think we all worry about as Knicks fans, right? Last year, when Thibodeau took the job, that's the one thing that you heard about countless times over and over and over again. Is Thibodeau going to run these guys into the ground? Is anybody going to want to play here? We saw Barrett and Randall's minutes at the beginning of the year. It was insane. I think they were first and second in minutes played. Granted, it was a 72-game season. This season, it's going to be longer. So maybe he's got to be a little bit smarter with his minutes, especially with players like Kemba Walker. And players like Derrick Rose. So we'll see about that. But it's good that we have a deep team for that reason alone. Miami Heat looking scary. Yeah, they are. Also, remember the Hawks didn't get a chance to get really exposed like they should have been. Do you think Julius Randle will do better in the playoffs this year? Let's get there first. And playoffs are all matchups too for me. So my answer would be, I don't know who we matched up against, right? Who's defending him? What is their game plan against Julius Randle? But if this team is completely healthy going into the playoffs, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't, yes, I think he would. For the simple reason is I don't think he would get as much defensive attention as he got going into these playoffs. I mean, you look at this Knicks roster going into the playoffs, who was the threat? You had Reggie Bullock on the outside, who's a guy that's going to sit in the corner. He's going to hit an open shot if it's open. You had Elfrid Payton, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, even though I think he only started the first, maybe the first 2 games. I don't remember of the series against the Hawks. You had R.J. Barrett, who was a second-year player who had never played in a playoff game before. Not much in terms of being able to create a shot, at least at this point in time. So, who was the real offensive threat to this team last year? I think this is obviously a team that poses more of a threat to an opposing defense with the players that we've added. So that alone, I think, would make Julius Randle a better player in the playoffs. But like I said, it's all matchup dependent. It depends on who we're going up against. Nick says, Nick's goal has to be to win a playoff series this year. I like our roster a lot, just about staying healthy and young guys continue to get better. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, that should be the goal going into the year. We made the playoffs last year. We got embarrassed when we got there. We won 1 game. You want to progress. You want to get better. You want to be able to get into the second round. It's not going to be easy, though, because like I said, I'm going to go in with reasonable expectations. The East got better. The Heat got better. The Nets are obviously a beast, right? So it's not going to be easy. The Bucks, the defending champs. So it could happen, but it's definitely not something that I'm saying is definitely going to happen. And I think to make it a real, something that I would really expect, I think they'd have to add another piece in season. Anything but Payton is an upgrade. Yeah, Mark, that's a great point you bring up. He says anything but Elfrid Payton is an upgrade. Mark, you hit it right on the head. Matter of fact, Mark, I didn't say this on YouTube, but the Knicks actually called me before they ended up with Kemba Walker. They said, Chris, we need anybody but Elfrid Payton, as the starting point guard for this basketball team. And they said, we know you haven't touched the basketball in about 4 or 5 years, but you got to be better than Payton. So they actually offered me a veteran's minimum before they ended up with Kemba Walker. So I'm with you on that. So I'm just glad we got anybody but him on the basketball court. What's up there, Brian, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. Steve, most likely prediction, Knicks getting. So I'm not gonna be negative with that, man. Hopefully the Knicks win at least 1 game, man. What's going on there, Mohamedou? Are the Knicks? Payton's not on the roster. He's not under contract right now. What's up there, Dan? Chris, did they ask you if you could feed the team my Nana sauce? What's up there, little Smokey? Morris, PJ Tucker, Lowry, Depot signed with Miami. Miami's got a good squad. Miami's got a really good squad. Kyle Lowry was a really good addition to that team. Miami's going to be tough. Obviously, they've got playoff pedigree. They went to the finals 2 years ago, so I am not writing off Miami. As a matter of fact, going into the playoffs, Miami was the one team I didn't want to face. Obviously, they disappointed when they got there, but Miami's got a good team, and they had a very active offseason like you just alluded to. So they're going to be tough, man. The Heat are good. Let's see what we got here. Sports Expert, what's going on, man? Chris, you need a max. No vet min. Yeah, Miami got a hell of a lot better. Let's see what we got. Taco said, Chris, people say they are nervous that since Randle played in an empty arena, he was good. Are you nervous that he will? No, I don't. No, I think that's overrated. I think people who say that are just people looking to bash the Knicks and they don't take them super seriously. No, I don't think that has anything to do with it, the empty arenas. Obviously, I know that the variables change come playoff time. We got filled arenas for the playoffs. Madison Square Garden was to fill capacity. But no, I think what happened come playoffs is simple. The reason the Knicks finished with the 4 seed, the reason that the Knicks had as good of a year as they did is because in the regular season, the Knicks gave it 110% every single game. Thibodeau didn't allow them to take a night off. The better teams who know that they're going to the playoffs ease up at times. They say, all right, we want to make sure we got all our horses come playoff time. And I think once the Hawks matched the Knicks' intensity, you saw the lack of talent that the New York Knicks had. And they took the ball out of Randle's hand. They forced him to, do things he couldn't do. So I think that had as much to do with it as anything else. I think the Hawks did a terrific job on Randle. I don't think it had anything to do with extra people in the stands. Nothing whatsoever. What's up there, Mega J? Yep, I agree with that for sure. in terms of not having a point guard for sure. And we need the one thing I was disappointed with this offseason, the one thing that I really wanted that we didn't really get, and I think we could still use, is like a true big. You look at this Knicks roster right now. I love Noel. Noel was my favorite player on the team last year. I love Noel. I love Mitch. We don't have a real big, right? Like, I felt like every time we went up against a team that had like a true big, we couldn't guard them. We couldn't stop them. We gave up a ton of offensive rebounds. That was something that I wanted to see the Knicks address in free agency. So people brought up Miles Turner, right? So that is something that I would have liked to see the Knicks add to this team. That's something that I think we missed. We don't have much beef down low. I would have liked to have a player like that on this basketball team. I like Noel a lot, but he's not like a real big. He's more of like a guy that's gonna, be a force at the rim, right? He's a rim protector. He'll get pushed around though against a big-bodied center. Baines, yeah. Let's see what we got here. As a Spurs, what's going on there, Dylan, man? As a Spurs fan, I think a lot of Knicks fans think they're in a win now mode, and they think this is their year. It takes years to become a championship contender. Yeah, I mean, Dylan, we're not. I mean, I think we're in win now mode in terms of we're not a rebuilding team. We're not a team that's we're still technically rebuilding, I suppose, but we're not a team that's tanking, and we're a team that has expectations going into the year. But we're definitely not at the point yet where we're in a win now mode in terms of a championship. You're just not there. You need superstars to win championships. Any basketball fan will tell you that. We don't have it yet. We need our younger players to grow and get better, and we need to ultimately become a team that's a place where superstars want to come and play. And I think as the Knicks improve and get better and continue to get better, it'll open up opportunities like that. Say goodbye to Dame. What about Dame? What happened with Dame? Why he keeps saying say goodbye to Dame? I don't think we were ever going to get Dame. So, the Knicks always settle for bad shots. Not much flow to the offense. Worse without Rose in the game. Yeah, I think last year there was like a spurt there when the Knicks were going on that winning streak. Remember when they won like 10 or 11 games in a row? And granted, we were playing some inferior opponents at times, but still the ball movement was actually really good. Even without a real point guard, Randall ran a lot. It was kind of a point forward. They didn't really have a true point guard. Peyton sucked. But I thought the ball movement was good at times. But overall, yeah, I mean, when you don't have guys that can penetrate to the basket and create, good opportunities for other players, it's going to be hard to have good ball movement on the court. Miles Deuce, I like the McBride pickup. I've actually watched a lot of highlights of McBride after we got him. I like the McBride pickup. I2J says, no matter what we did this offseason, we couldn't be a championship. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't force it, man. Giants and Knicks had similar offseasons. They both signed players that have high reward and could cement them both as consistent playoff teams, but are injury prone. Yeah, I mean, it's apples and oranges when you compare basketball to baseball because obviously, football is more of a team sport. Basketball is more individual, right, in terms of if you get a superstar. But, yeah, I see what you're saying there, right? Galladay injury history, a guy that, much higher risk, though. I'll say that because we signed him to a lot of money. Not so much of a high risk with Kemba Walker. Pete, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, Kemba is home. He will show out this year. Jericho Sims will be a rookie surprise, people. Now we could beat the Hawks. Well, hopefully we get to match up against the Hawks in the playoffs. I'd like another crack at them for sure. That'd be nice. If they get the 4 seed, we get the 5. I'd like another crack at them for sure with the improved team that we have. But I'm with you, man. Listen, when I heard we got Kemba Walker, especially when I heard the price he's going to come here for, I was excited. It's a good pickup for the Knicks. Andy Jones to the Giants. Andy Jones to the Giants. Like I said, I'm going to do a video on this later today when I have an opportunity. Oh yeah, I heard about that yesterday. Tommy Stevens and Andy Jones tried out for the Giants. He's a wide receiver, right? I think. Yeah, I heard about that yesterday. They brought them in for tryouts. He's not going to make the team. We're really deep at that position to begin with. I think at this point, the only thing that I'm really excited about in terms of who we could sign would be an offensive lineman now to replace Looney. Maybe they don't even like to do that. We'll see. But that's obviously where I think they could add a potential impact player to this roster. He's not going to crack the team as a wide receiver. Let's see what we got here. But yeah, I read that yesterday that they were bringing him and Stevens in for tryouts. Chicago sports over New York. Chicago sports over New York. What's going on, Ron? Thanks for popping in the stream. Well, let's take a look. The Chicago Bulls, I'll be the first to say, Ron, you guys owned us. You guys owned us. We could never beat you guys when we were at our best. Nobody could. You had Michael Jordan. And historically, you got more titles. So I'll give you basketball. Baseball, there is no way in hell you're telling me the Cubs and White Sox are better than the Mets and Yankees. So we dominate you there. Hockey, I don't know, so I'm not even going to talk about it. I know the Blackhawks are one of the original franchises along with the Rangers. And what sport did I leave out? We said basketball. We said, football. Chicago Bears. Are you kidding me? Chicago Bears? You guys got one Super Bowl. You guys, since the Super Bowl era, you guys have never had a franchise quarterback. Don't give me the Chicago Bears. Don't give me the Chicago Bears. If you had Eli Manning as your quarterback with the Chicago Bears, you'd have 4 statues of him outside of your stadium. Let's see what we got here. Hey, I know this is an extreme, but I'm trying to figure out the MLB team I'm going to cheer for, either Yankees or Mets. Well, if you want to feel better about yourself, you probably want to pick the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan, and I'm telling you that. Everything that could go wrong with the Mets usually does. What's up, Jack, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. We need an invincible Luka Doncic. I would love Luka Doncic. That's just never going to happen, man. Chicago has better pizza than New York. Go Brooklyn. No, it doesn't. No, I've been to both places. I've had Chicago pizza. I actually like it, but no, New York pizza is better. Let's go Mets. I love the Mets, but I mean, Yankees, you're not going to be ripping your hair out with the Yankees. You think Kemba returns to Charlotte form? Can he stay healthy? I don't know. I hope. That'd be great. I'm not going to bank on it, but I hope. If he could stay healthy, sure, I guess it's possible, but I'm not going to bank on that. I just hope he's a good player for us, and I think he will be when he's healthy. Let's see. And Pete, man, thank you very much. Go with the Mets. Be miserable with us. Hey, man, listen, I love the Mets. I always say it whenever I do the Mets streams. People always ask me, they say, Chris, why didn't you pick the Yankees? I always have this picture because I know I get asked it. This is me, and this is actually the last time the New York Mets won a World Series. I was born in 1985, so I'm assuming this picture was around 1986, and this is what I look like now. That's the difference between a World Series and not. So I'm a diehard Mets fan, but it's definitely tough sledding to be a Mets fan. Let's see what we got here. What's up there, Jared, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. Rose Cardiac Kemba, baby. Let's go. I'm excited for Kemba, man. Why didn't the Knicks get Zion? That's like asking, why didn't the Knicks get Kobe Bryant? Why didn't the Knicks get LeBron James? Why didn't the Knicks get Michael Jordan? You think we could just, say Zion, here you go. Like, why didn't we get every great player in the league? Well, because he's under contract. And because the Pelicans would be fools if they traded him. They got 3 more years on the rookie contract. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Do I think Zion could be a Knick in the future? Yes. He's expressed how much he would love to play at the Garden. And he's obviously best friends with RJ Barrett. So maybe ultimately in 3 years, he'll be a New York Knick. But he's under contract. That's why. And would you trade Zion Williamson if you were the Pelicans? Absolutely not. Let's see what we got here. Chris, what move will make the Knicks title contenders? They need another superstar. They need another superstar. That's what makes them title contenders. Would Karl Anthony Towns be a good fit for us? I mean, again, depends on the price, how much what I got to give up to get him. And him and Thibodeau, and I don't know this for a fact. I'm not a Timberwolves fan. I know Thibodeau didn't have the best reputation. Well, he was at Minnesota. That's why he was out of there quick. He was out of there within 2 years. So I don't know the relationship between Cat and Thibodeau. I would assume it's possible. It's not a very good one. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the best fit. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so there you go. Towns hates Tibbs. But can the Miami Heat go to the finals? Sure, why not? They went to the finals a couple of years ago. They have a much better team now. Why couldn't they? Yeah, they definitely could. Obviously, the Nets are going to be the favorites going in, but I see no reason to think that the Nets can't make the finals. I don't think he will, Taco. I don't think he will. I think he's gonna. I think he'll split the time between Rose and him. I don't think he's gonna overuse him. I feel like the Kemba Walker move is similar to the Chris Paul move. I'm not gonna go that far. Listen, I'm excited about Kemba Walker. I think he's definitely gonna help this basketball team. Chris Paul is one of the best players in the NBA, and Chris Paul's worth is what he does for other basketball players. He's a distributor. It doesn't even necessarily show up in the stat sheet. Chris Paul makes everybody around him better. I'm not going to go that far. Paul's one of the greatest point guards of all time. So I'm not gonna say he's gonna have that kind of impact, but he'll have an impact. Chris, Kemba's been injured the last couple of years. What are we getting here? We're getting a guy that we're not paying anything for because of his injuries. $8-9 million a year for 2 years. He's had knee problems, and you got to hope that he holds up, man. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's no risk because of what we're paying him. And he's a guy that last year still averaged 20 points a game. He's a threat on the floor when he's out there. Maybe he'll be a sixth man. Him or Rose obviously is going to be the primary guy off the bench, one way or the other. Probably one's going to start, one's going to come off the bench. Clearly going to help this team. The question is, like you said, how long could he hold up? And we'll see. He played about a half a season last year. That's probably a lie. I don't think Kawhi joined the Suns. We're getting 20 points per game. Yeah, that's what he got last year. The question is, are we going to get it for 82 games or are we going to get it for 40? Chris, you make New York sports fun again. I appreciate that, man. Listen, I'm looking forward to – now I got to come up with phrases for Kemba Walker when he shoots a three. Reggie B for three. So he's gone. Now I got Evan Fournier. That's going to be tough. I still got Burks working and twerking. I'm gonna have to come up with some rhymes though for the newly acquired Knicks. We'll see what I come up with. Evan from heaven. Man, that's not bad. Let's see what we got here. Embrace. I'm excited for Kemba. Ralph, what's going on, man? Mr. Tank in the chat. He says embrace Kemba. I'm all about it, man. I'm excited for Kemba. Let's all pray for Kemba Walker's knee. Exactly. What seed do you think the Knicks will be? I think the Knicks are going to be 5 or 6. That's where I got them right now. 5 or 6 in the Eastern Conference. Because like I said, all the improvements around the conference. But I'll go 5 or 6. What's up, Nona, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. What's up, Brian Hudson? Imagine if the Knicks are going to have so many nationally televised games now. I mean, they started to get them over the second half last year. After the break, when the schedule came out, I think the Knicks had like 7 or 8 nationally televised games as they started to improve. But, yeah, I still don't think they're going to get near the most, right? Because everybody's driven to the superstars. So the Nets will still get more. The Lakers will still get more. But, yeah, the Knicks will definitely be more on national TV than they've been in the past. And as they continue to get better, obviously more so. Chris, Brandon here. The Giants sign Looney, then he retires. Can we trade for I doubt it. I think they're going to monitor the offensive line market, but I don't see us making any trades. I do think we'll look to maybe bring in another offensive lineman. But the other thing I'll say is when we brought in Looney, what's his name was hurt. Jonathan Harrison, I think, was out, right? He was a little bit banged up. So Harrison's back now. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to bring in another offensive lineman. I don't know if the Giants are going to do it. They expressed interest before they even brought in Looney, though. There was a couple of guys they were looking at on the waiver wire. So I think they could still sign a lineman, but it's kind of getting late in the process. It was a good draft and signings, but we need a strong center that could defend and get 10+ rebounds and 2 or 3 blocks a game. Because that's what I said earlier. I felt like we needed that more traditional center. That was the one thing one of the things. I obviously wanted a point guard and I wanted shooters, which they went out and they did. I wanted a traditional big, which we didn't ultimately end up getting this offseason. Would you trade anything to get Dame? No. Matter of fact, I don't want to trade for Dame. I don't think we're ready to trade for a player like that unless you could bring another superstar in with him, which I knew was never going to be the case. I don't want to trade for Dame because I know what the cost is going to be. And I don't think it's not to say he's not worth it. Yes, obviously he's better than RJ Barrett. Obviously he's worth 3 first-round picks or whatever it would cost along with RJ Barrett. But it doesn't make sense for this basketball team. If you're going to make a trade like that, you do that to win a championship. If we brought in Damian Lillard and lost Barrett and lost all those picks, we're not winning a championship. You're in the same situation you are with the Portland Trailblazers. You're not winning a championship with that. So I don't want to trade for Lillard. Not yet, at least. I'm glad we're not getting Dennis Schroeder. Chris, I love Chris Paul, but I'm happy we didn't give him a 4-year deal. Well, that's what it would have costed. That's what it would have cost, rather. I would have been okay with it. I would have been okay with it because I think Chris Paul he'd be so good for RJ Barrett and he'd be so good for Quickly and the younger players on this team. I would have been okay eating the last year, maybe year and a half of that contract to help mature players like RJ Barrett. But obviously it didn't end up happening. He says, no, I'm sorry about your nuts, brother. Well, let me ask you, Smokey. Let me ask the people in the chat. We know that we weren't getting another superstar in free agency. There was no other superstars to get. Kawhi Leonard stayed with the team he was with. Dame Lillard's like 32. Obviously, Dame Lillard's one of the top 10 players in the game. No denying it. If we got Damian Lillard and we gave up RJ Barrett and, I don't know, throw Toppin in there and 3 or 4 first-round picks, are we winning a championship? Are we anywhere near winning a championship? Because you're giving away your entire future to do it. You're giving away your best young player and 3 or 4 first-round picks with Toppin. So does getting Damian Lillard, pairing him up with, we'll say you even bring in Evan Fournier, even though Lillard would eat up a lot of your cap space. Let's say you even are able to bring him in with Julius Randle. Are we winning a championship? Are we close to winning a championship? Because if the answer is no, you don't do it. You don't mortgage your entire future just to become a better basketball team that's going to hurt you in the future. So that's why my answer is unequivocally no. And Kyle, man, thank you very much. Off topic, but how about Wes is the man? Wes is the man. Wes and me, we go way back. We go way back, Kyle. He's the man, though. He always makes me laugh whenever I go on Twitter. No, but you could build off that. Barrett is Kaka. Barrett is Kaka. He's definitely not Kaka. But I don't know. What do you have to build off of at that point? I mean, you've got a 32, 33-year-old Dame Lillard. Then you're going to have to re-sign Julius Randle, so he's going to eat up the majority of your cap space. Is that enough? I don't know. And is it enough to – and next year's free agency class, who knows who you're going to ultimately end up being able to get? So you're rolling the whole dice for about a 2 or 3 year shot that may never happen, and it certainly wouldn't happen this year. Barrett is basically I think Barrett is an unknown. We don't know what Barrett is right now. You know, I love how people try to make comparisons for RJ Barrett. We don't know. And obviously Wiggins is the obvious comparison because they're both from Canada. RJ Barrett's 21 years old. We don't know what RJ Barrett is yet. He's never had a real great team around him yet either to help him mature and become better as a basketball player. He got a lot better last year. I think he could be better than Wiggins. I see no reason why he can't be better than Wiggins. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I see no reason why he can't be better than Wiggins. I'll let you know in 2 or 3 years what I think of RJ Barrett, but I think he's going to become a better basketball player than what he is right now. All right, Jameson, be good, my man. You have to sacrifice, bro. You have to sacrifice, bro. Dame is the piece to build a championship. You know who else I heard that about? Carmelo Anthony. And we gave up everything to get him. Did that get us close to a championship? No. Not a good move. Not right now. We're not at that point yet. Let's see what we got here. Kaka is how you talk to a toddler. What's going on there, Joseph Cooper, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I would imagine Randall gets 5 years, 150 million. He's going to get a lot. He's going to get a lot. Zion in 3 years would be a good pickup, for sure, if we could get him. You don't think Dame and Julius would attract anyone? It could, but you don't know that. You don't know that. And even if it did, you still don't know if you'd be able to win. You don't know that, you know? And you're giving up your entire future for the chance to attract somebody that still wouldn't guarantee you a championship or even come close to guaranteeing you a championship. Because I'll tell you what, name the player. Because I don't know. It's not going to be Giannis now. It's not going to be Luka. So what player within a year? Because I'm not talking 3 years, because by that point, Dame Lillard's like 35. You want to tell me Zion, but at that point, Dame Lillard's 35. You don't know what Randall's going to be at that point. What player in the next year? Well, I'll give you this year. The following year, are you going to be able to get to come here to be able to compete with the Brooklyn Nets, with their top three? I don't think you're going to be able to do it. I just don't think it's the time to make a move like that. Melo didn't have the team because we had to trade the whole. Yeah, exactly. Steve Stark. Exactly. Jason Tate, if you could get him. I think Grimes gets 15 minutes a game at shooting guard, and so that's about what I got Perez 15 minutes ago. All these new deals are up in 3. It's for Zion in 3. Yeah, I think that I definitely think Zion's a possibility. Long term. Obviously not in the short term. Should we get Frank? I don't want Frank back. I know Knicks fans love Frank. He's never going to play here, man. Thibodeau's a win-now coach. He's never going to develop here. I know Knicks fans want him to work out so bad. I know he's like the most popular. He seems to be – Frank Ntilikina, I have never seen a player where the fan base is so divided. Half the fan base thinks he could become a star, and half the fan base thinks he's absolute crap. I just think Ntilikina is never going to work with the Knicks. It's time to move on, man. I don't see how he'd ever play. If we brought him back, how is he going to play on this team? I just don't see it. Dame is great, but other than the first round versus OKC in 2014, Houston in 2019, and Game 5 versus Denver, he underperformed. Dame's great. I'd love to have Dame in the Knicks. It's just we're not going to get him for what it's going to cost. And it's not the time to do it. And Taco, thank you for posting that. Yep, the official sponsor. I'm going to start promoting that as we get into the football season. But thank you for posting that. Official sponsor of the channel. Faruqi. Zion is in no doubt. You saw the way if he's held. The only thing I worry about, I don't want to say no doubt because we said. Sorry about that. I'm back. Every once in a while, it's going to pop me out. I actually hope I get my new computer back in a day or two. It's been like a month at Apple. So they said it should be back soon. So sorry about that. I forgot what I was answering. But Tyler, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, even if we trade for Dame, we still need a second star to become true title contenders. With just Dame, we're just a 3 or 4 seed, always losing in the second round. We're exactly what we were with Carmelo Anthony. And it's a limited time for him because it's not like Dame's going to be great forever. You have like a 3-year window there to win a championship, and you don't have the team yet to be able to compete for one, even if you bring in Damian Lillard. So you're really giving yourself a 2-year window at best, if the players remain healthy, to be able to compete for a championship. All right. And you gave away all your draft capital to potentially trade for one. It would have to be via free agency that you bring somebody in. And at this point, it's not happening anyway because we're committed now to Evan Fournier for 4 years. You know, it's just not going to happen unless Fournier, I guess, was included in the trade. We thought we signed Pinson back. He's a good back end of the roster guy. Chris, if you like mangoes or pomegranates, oh no, don't worry about it. I appreciate the offer, Brandon. Dame is great. Thought a troll report. No. That happens every now and again because my old computer. It pops me out. I'm only going to be live. What time is it now? It's 3:08. I'll be live for like another 10, 15 minutes. I just wanted to come on and talk some Knicks basketball. I haven't done it in a while. I was excited about the move. So I figured I'd come on midday today and talk to you guys. Probably have a Giants video. I'll probably wait to have a Giants video until after the practice today so I have a lot more to talk about. Maybe I'll even go live tonight. We'll see. Not for long, maybe an hour. Talk about all the news that came out if I go live. I don't know. I like going live to get to talk to you guys and obviously have a 10-minute intro, talk about all the news of the day, and then kind of get a chance to talk to all you guys. So we'll see. I may or may not go live tonight to talk Giants, but I wanted to go live today midday and talk some Knicks with you, obviously, because today was a big day with Kemba Walker and kind of just recap the entire roster. Simon, man, what's going on? Sup, Chris? You think these two signings No, I don't. No. The East is loaded, man. The East is tough. Miami Heat's really good. I've said it all stream, but no, I don't think we're going to be going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think we're still a piece away from being able to do that. But it clearly makes us a better team, and I think it's going to help our younger players progress and get better, which is what I think to me, that's the most important thing from these moves. I think it allows RJ Barrett and Quickly to become better basketball players. Dame locked himself into Portland. We're not getting Dame. Where do you think Kawhi? I think he's going to stay with the Clippers. What about I talked about that yesterday, Steven, but As far as the brawl goes, I don't care. But, I think it's overblown a bit. And it's the first day of padded practice. So you expect the team to be ultra aggressive. You expect there to be a little bit more physicality. So I wasn't upset at all about the brawl. Obviously, I didn't like hearing that Daniel Jones was involved in it, and I think was at the bottom of the pile. So that's not a good look. But I don't know. In a way, I kind of like that the team's showing a little bit more tenacity, a little bit more fight. So I kind of tried to take a positive from it. I liked it. Obviously, you don't want that to happen on an everyday basis, but I don't know. Nothing that I'm going to go crazy about. Obviously, like I said, you don't like hearing Daniel Jones at the bottom of the pile, though. Let's see what we got here. I want to see Sims in summer. I'm excited for summer league. What's with the wimpiness about the bro? Exact, Steve. My thoughts exactly. It's football. It's not two-hand touch. It's that. There was a guy on Twitter. I had to comment. He said, what did he say? He said, I think that Joe Judge has no control of this locker room. He's completely losing the control of everybody because they cut Kelvin Benjamin. They had a player. They had Todd Davis retire and the brawl. And I said, so you think Joe Judge lost the locker room because a fat guy didn't make the football team when he told him to be in better shape, because a linebacker that nobody wanted decided to retire when he got here because he realized he probably wouldn't have made the team, and because they had a brawl on the first day of padded practice? It's overblown. It's stories that the media are blowing out of proportion. Obviously, it's a little bit concerning. Like I said, that Jones is at the bottom of the pile, but I'm not going to read too much into it, man. Chris, what is wrong with the Mets? They can't hit. It's been the same problem they've had all year. They can't hit, man. Confirmed news. Kemba signed a 2-year deal. Okay, so now it's completely confirmed. Yeah, IQJ. That's it. There's nothing to lose. It's basically a minimum contract. There's nothing to lose with that deal. Hi, Chris. How many minutes will I think mid-20s. I think mid-20s. Him and Rose will split minutes. 23 to 27, 28 minutes in that ballpark. That's what I think he's going to get. Whiteside would have been a good side. I would have liked Whiteside. Actually, a couple of people brought him up to me. I would have liked Whiteside. That's the type of player I think we could have used. So, yeah, I agree with you on that, Brian. No, I'm married to you guys, Boz. I'm married to you guys. I'm married to my subscribers. No, I'm not married. Chris, what are the odds Porzingis will return back home to us? I have no idea, man. Probably not very high. I think Porzingis wanted out in New York just as much as we wanted to get rid of him. I don't think he wanted to be here. Maybe some of it had to do with those sexual allegations that came out after the fact, and he wanted to distance himself from the New York area, which kind of sound, a lot of times, you don't want to, you want to be fair and take the woman's side. But when the facts came out about that, it sounded like Porzingis really wasn't in the wrong with that one. But that may have had a lot to do with it. The Porzingis just wanted to be out of New York, and he knew that those details were going to come out, or maybe he just didn't like playing here. Maybe he didn't like Dolan. But I think it had just as much to do with the fact that Porzingis didn't want to be here as the Knicks wanted to get rid of him. Mets are going to finish. I hope not, Crispy, but they're not playing well right now. That's for damn sure. Knicks winning the championship 2022. Who says no? Me. I want to say yes, but no. Finally, some Porzingis talk. Thanks, Chris. Hey, I love Porzingis. I'm gonna tell you what, man. If Porzingis never got hurt, and obviously he did, but we saw, some Knicks fans may not realize it. Maybe a lot of fans weren't watching the team back then. Porzingis was playing at a near MVP level before he got hurt. He was carrying that team, right? You saw what that team looked like the next year. It was basically the same roster without Porzingis. I think we won like 18 games. If Porzingis never got hurt, we would have been much more advanced in the process at this point, I think. Because you would have had a budding superstar, 20 whatever years old, 23, 24, no injury history, who was growing into becoming a superstar. He's obviously not the same player now that he was back then because of the injury, and I don't think he ever will be. And I think it would have attracted stars to come to play with the Knicks. I really do. I think we would have been more advanced than we are now had Porzingis never gotten hurt. And it's unfortunate. It's a part of the game. He was never the same player after that. It was a good trade. I mean, after the fact, when the Knicks traded Porzingis, obviously many Knicks fans were upset. But what we got back, it's worked out. But had he not gotten hurt, I think the Knicks would be in a much better place today. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we did make his ego crazy. What are the Knicks still missing to be a true contender? They need another superstar, man. They need another superstar. And Tana, trust me, Amir Sims, get used. A lot of people have been mentioning him, man. A lot of people have been mentioning him. I'm gonna have to look into him. A lot of people have been mentioning him. John, all right. A couple people have told me it is confirmed. All right, we'll see. I think he's gonna be a Knick. From all accounts, it looks like he's gonna be a Knick. Maybe it's not signed on the dotted line, but we'll see. It sounds like he's gonna be a Knick. Chris, who is the best chance to have a breakout season, Barrett, Fournier, or Quickly? Well, I feel like, I mean, Fournier, I don't think is going to break out. I think Fournier pretty much is what he is at this point. He's a very good player. I don't think he's going to be much better than he is right now. He's like 28 years old. So I'd go Barrett. And even though Barrett, I thought, had a breakout year last year, he had a much improved year. I think Barrett has the best chance to have another breakout year because of the players around him. Just growing as a basketball player. So I think the improved talent around him, I think RJ Barrett is the obvious breakout candidate for the Knicks this year. And obviously, as Knicks fans, we hope that, right? Because if he were to break out now, you're talking 22, 23 points a game and really taking his game to the next level. And I think it's definitely possible with the parts we've put around him now. And we'll find out this year. So I would go Barrett. As much as I like Quickly, I don't know if the opportunity is going to be there. He's going to play. But in terms of breaking out and exceeding what he did last year, I don't know if the minutes are going to be there for him. And Tyler, man, thank you very much. So what should we do to become true? Oh, I already answered that. We need to add a superstar, Tyler. We need another superstar. It's the name of the game in the NBA. You need stars. You're not going to win with good players. You need superstars. And you got to hope that these young players either become superstars or become attractive enough to be able to lure a superstar here. Juice, man, thank you very much. Bring Neo on. Neo's sleeping. Neo's upstairs. You ask me every time. Juice World. I'm going to tell you what. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. If you do have an Instagram, follow me there. Today, Juice World, since you're so curious about Neo, I am going to take a picture of Neo and I will put her on Instagram just for you because you ask me that every time I go live. I'm going to, maybe even a video. Maybe I'll even put a video up there for you. MY Giants 26, man, thank you very much. Kemba will be a Knick. His Insta bio, well, he's from the Bronx. He's from the Bronx. But yeah, he's going to be a Knick. From everything, going to FanFest, where can I meet you? I am going to be parking lot G. I'm not sure where I'm sitting, but parking lot G is where I'm going to be. I think it's general admission. But yeah, parking lot G, actually, we're going to have a show, not on my channel, on Talking Giants channel, before we go in. It's going to be license plate guy, Bobby, Justin, and myself, and I think Danny, who's affiliated with them as well. We're going to have a show before FanFest. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then, yeah, parking lot G, we're going to get there at 3 o'clock. The doors open at 6. So we'll hang out for about 3 hours before, have some burgers, and then go in there and get to watch the Giants. I think it goes to like 9 or 10 o'clock. So I'm really looking forward to it. But, yeah, you can meet me at parking lot G. And, yes, a special video of Neo. Yeah, man, I promise you. Today I'll have a video on my Instagram of Neo. I just got to come up with an idea of what type of video I'm going to put because I already walked her today. Maybe I'll walk her again. And I'll take a video for you. What's up, James, man? Glad to see you, buddy. Yeah, actually, it didn't work for me. Somebody offered me one of their tickets. I tried getting in. I couldn't get it. But somebody had, actually a number of people. I can't say thank you enough. They had extra tickets. So a couple of people reached out to me. So I'm going. And my brother as well, I think, is going to come with me too. I may be able to get more extra tickets. And if I can, I may give those away next time I do a Giants stream, which could be tonight, James, by the way. I'll see. I might go live for like an hour, talk about the Giants tonight. We'll see. Maybe make this a regular thing as we're leading up into the season. But being that there's some news today with Looney and everything else, and, there'll be some notes from the practice too. So I might go live for about an hour tonight, talk some Giants with you guys, and maybe I'll be giving away some tickets to that. Chris, bring the B on. Did I tell you that I found the B? Did I tell you that I found the B? I'm out, Chris. Good. It was good seeing you too, Pete, man. I found the B like 2 weeks later. He's dead. He died. Or he's just sleeping for a very long time. Chris, I have a feeling that we're not a superstar to win a championship. Only a dangerous team. I mean, I think if we added, we need Barrett to improve, and we need to add a superstar. And we'd at least have a chance. And not via trade. I'm talking free agency. Not giving up anything on this team and adding a superstar. It would at least make us a contender. Chris, what are we going to do with Luka? Luka Vildosa? You talking about the point guard we picked up? I think he might not even make the team. I mean, he probably will, but he might not even make the team. It's not a guaranteed contract. I think it was a 4-year deal or a 3-year deal, but it wasn't a guaranteed contract. It's going to be hard for him to get minutes, man. I know he's more of a traditional point guard, and I actually like some of the clips that I saw from him when they signed him. I checked him out. He looked like a crafty point guard that'll bring some toughness to this team, right? That's what you get from the European point guards. But he might not make this team, man. And if he does, I think it's going to be hard for him to get a lot of minutes. Chris, are you ever in disbelief of how big this channel? Yes, all the time. All the time. I say it all the time. I can't say thank you enough to all you guys, man. Everybody that's in here, everybody that supports my videos, my live streams. I have so much fun talking sports with you guys. But I say it all the time, man. When I started on YouTube, I just did it for fun, man. I was just on here to have a couple of laughs, get my mind off things, have a hobby. And, yeah, man, the channel grew to a level that I never thought it would ever grow to. So, I'm blown away by all the support that I get by everybody. I can't say thank you enough. Luka overseas. Yeah, I don't think Eddie. I'm with you, man. I don't see how he's going to get an opportunity to really get minutes with the Knicks this year. Chris, Sterling Shepard or Joe Judge's discipline program. If you don't like it, then you're welcome to leave. Hashtag Giants. Exactly. Who's right? Oh, I can't wait. I know everybody's excited for football. I know because yesterday when I was doing my Giants stream, everybody was saying, Chris, you got to live stream the Hall of Fame game. And I'm like, all right, it's an exhibition game. The Giants aren't even in. The Cowboys are in it. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. So it'll probably be, it's probably going to be a Giants hangout where we talk just football in general, maybe make fun of the Cowboys. But yeah, I can't wait for football. I'm super excited for football this year, man. What's up, Lincoln Man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Lincoln Carpenter wrote dad, 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 dad. And I'm going to write block, 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 block. What's up, Stephen, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. But anyway, guys, it is. I thought I'd go for about 2 hours. We did. I just wanted to talk some Knicks with you guys while I had an opportunity. I probably will be live tonight again to talk some Giants football with you guys as well, being that, we got some stuff to talk about now, right? The news about Looney, and there's a practice late tonight. So rather than make a video now about Looney, I'll just wait. I'll wait till the news comes out about the practice and see if anything breaks with Kenny Golladay. I know that there was some news that they basically said that it doesn't look as bad as they initially thought. But I'll wait, maybe we'll get some more news with the practice tonight as well. And we'll have some stuff to talk about tonight. Won't be that long, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. Just talk a little bit Giants football with you guys tonight. I'm excited to start talking football with you guys. I just wanted to come on and, talk some Knicks basketball. I know I haven't done a ton of it. And obviously we had some big news over the last couple of days with free agency and everything else. So felt like it would be cool to talk some hoops with you. I'm excited for the upcoming season. I'm super excited for this upcoming season. Can't wait to start calling games again with the roster the Knicks have put together. I think we're going to have a really fun team. I think you're going to see a lot of growth this year, and I think you're going to see a team that puts the pedal to the metal. So I can't wait to call Knick games. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And, I'll probably see you guys tonight to talk some Giants football as well. So looking forward to it. If not tonight, I'll definitely see you guys tomorrow for the Hall of Fame game. But I'll probably be live for about an hour to talk some Giants football. Guys, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Have a good one, everybody.